Alright, so you're probably wondering why we've dragged all this random stuff out here and lined it up. Well, about 2 years ago, I made a video about this little Harbor Freight Predator engine that sells for 99 bucks. It's amazing. And I thought at the time that most people that watch the video would be people that are kind of into small engine stuff and what have you, but I got an awful lot of comments from people that had no idea what these are even used for. Today, Tom and myself are going to show you 7 different random items that all use this same engine. This engine is by far the most bang for your buck and most versatile engine you'll ever find. It can be used on any one of these: tractor, mini bike, go-kart if you have one, generator, rototiller, snowblower, wood chipper. I've seen people put them on boats. I've even seen people put them in small vehicles, and one guy on YouTube has it on a homemade tow truck. The nice thing about it is at 99 bucks, most times you can pick up these types of items on the side of the road. People give them away. They give up on things where carburetor's gummed up, can't get the engine to start, whatever. So this tractor, I paid $50. Needed an engine, I use it every day. This thing is amazing. I use it all over the property. Wood chipper, same thing, free. Engine didn't run, threw a Predator on it. Snowblower, free, $99 Predator. Rototiller, free, $99 Predator. This generator is actually made by Harbor Freight and comes with the Predator 6.5. And because these are so great, I went ahead and bought one, and I definitely don't regret it. Mini bike, you can do your own research. These things are incredible. People use these things on mini bikes and go-karts and modify them to no end. That one is heavily modified, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. And the tractor, again, you know, I can't say enough about this thing. I use it to tow things. I use it for plowing. I use it for snow blowing. I've got dirt plows for turning the soil in the garden. Just endless uses. And all these items are so cheap. If I had to buy them all new, you're probably talking $5 or $6 grand just on these items right here. So Tom and I are going to go through and basically do cold starts on every one of these items that you just saw us wheel out. That snowblower that's still covered has not been started in 2 years. Basically, I want to show you how reliable these things are. The rest of these items, most of them don't get used very often. The rototiller only in the spring. The wood chipper in the fall. Generator, mostly in the fall if we get storms. Mini bike goes out about 3-4 times a year. So this is about the only one I use on a regular basis, and I would expect this one to start right up. Let's see what happens with the rest of them. Ready, Tom? Yep. All right. So on all these engines, when you go to start them, you got the on-off switch, flip it on. You've got a choke lever, which you're going to set to start, and you got a fuel lever you want to make sure is turned on. That's about it. For this tractor, I just make sure it's in neutral, put a little throttle on it, and it's ready to start. How many pulls do you think it's going to take, Tom? 3 pulls. Ready, guys? There's one. And even though I just started it, right down to idle. All right, let's move on. We've got one here on the ground. Might as well fire that up. Not even connected to anything. Okay? You got a 3/4 inch shaft on the side. Basically connect any pulley or sprocket or clutch. I'll just make sure that this one is turned on. I'm going to check and make sure the choke is on and the fuel is on. Make sure there's a little throttle. And I think there's gas in it. So, ready? How many, Tom? 2. Oh. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's beautiful. Can't beat that. 2 pulls. All right. Here we have a generator. Tom, I'm going to let you do the honors in this one. Make sure everybody sees that there's no tricks behind this. All right. I'm going to flip the power on. We're going to set the choke on. The fuel is already on. The on switch is here. So we're good. Tom, have at it. Oh, look at that. 1 pull. Good to go. All right, so far 2 pulls, 2 pulls, 1 pull. Let's see what we get on our rototiller, which I know hasn't been used since the spring. This, my wife used it for the garden, and I'm pretty sure nobody's touched it since. So, choke is on. Oh, the fuel was off. Make sure we have gas in this one. And you know what? There's not much gas in it, but there is gas. So I'm going to hope there's enough to at least start it. All right, Tom, I'm going to hold this one still if you want to give it a rip, because this one tends to take off on its own.
Yes, it's all the way back right down.
It's all the way forward. Yep, there you go. Once again, 2 pulls, and one was about to slip. Like as I told you, there's like no gas in there, so it just stalled out quickly. That's fine. It started 2 pulls once again. All right. Now this engine is based on a Honda GX200. Very, very similar, but the Honda GX200 sells for $329. It's still a 6.5 horse engine, and these here are basically clones at 99 bucks. You can't argue. Bang for the buck, there's nothing like it. So here we go again. Go ahead, Tom. I still got some brush in there from the last time I used it. All right, Tom, let's bring out the snowblower, which has not been used in 2 years. So I do not have high expectations. As most of you probably know, our regular gasoline has 10% ethanol, which tends to gum up carburetors if it sits over a period of time. The gas goes bad pretty quickly. So I don't have high hopes because this carburetor could be clogged, dirty. If it doesn't start, that would definitely be the reason. Clean the carb, it'll start. But let's see what happens. I mean, after 2 years of sitting, let's see what happens. Oh. Water everywhere. Switch is on. Gas is now on. Choke's already on. And I'll put the throttle again kind of in the middle there. And if I knew that we weren't going to get any snow last year, I would have put the gas in this. But I like to drain the tanks before the season's over. And that way, the next time you do use it, put fresh gas in, it'll start right up. This one apparently still has plenty of gas in it. So again, if it's gummed up, it's gummed up. But let's see.
I'm going to say 5 pulls.
5 pulls. You know what?
2 years, 5
I'll tell you what. I don't know that it's going to start. But if it does, these things are so good that I'm going to say this, if it fires, it's going to fire in 3 pulls. 3? If it doesn't fire in 6, we know the carburetor is clogged. I'm going to say 3. All right. Let's do it. That was almost.
That was almost.
And that's just, if one doesn't make it, yeah, it's 1. Go ahead. Whoa!
It wants it. That is just some bad gas.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, almost. Let's try taking the choke halfway. Try it again.
I can smell it.
Yeah?
It doesn't smell good. But.
Yeah. Oh yeah, bad gas for sure. Okay, that's all right. We're gonna set this aside. I didn't think that would start. My bad. So let me just give you a quick rundown on the mini bike. There are so many parts available for these little engines because they're Honda clones that I've actually installed a dirt bike carburetor in place of a utility carburetor. So I actually manufacture these intake manifolds, and I'll put a link in the description. If you want one of these, they're 25 bucks on eBay delivered. It allows you to attach a Mikuni 22 to 26 millimeter carb, and I've run a regular twist throttle on this as opposed to the engine throttle. Obviously, you need control at the handlebars on a mini bike. This has a high flow air filter with an additional foam pre-filter. Yep. Okay, and on the other side here, instead of a traditional clutch or a pulley, we've actually got what's called, you can call it a torque converter or a CVT. They're called both all over the internet. I'm not going to get into that discussion as to which one's correct, but basically it's a belt drive system that allows you to have low end torque and top end. So this works really well since the engine obviously is not connected to a traditional transmission and you don't have gears. You would be limited by the RPM of the engine, which out of the box is 3,600 RPM. But you can also do many other things, such as removing the governor internally, which increases your RPM. It's not necessarily suggested unless you make other mods to the engine as well. You can find out other additional information online about that. But you get into replacing the rods, your piston, your valve springs, camshaft, things like that. So it gets into some money, and when you're going to build an engine, you know, some people might say, why are you going to go and put several hundreds of dollars into a $99 engine? Well, are you kidding me? What better platform? If you're going to buy an engine and tear it apart and replace everything, don't you want to start with a cheap motor? Why go spend $330 on a Honda, and you're going to take everything out of it anyway, just to replace it with aftermarket parts? So it makes sense. Buy a $99 engine, throw $300 at it, and you get an engine that'll turn 9,000 RPMs and do about 45, 50 miles an hour. So this bike is very quick. It's highly modified. You see there's a header here in place of the traditional muffler, the CVT, the carburetor. The governor's been removed. It's got a camshaft in it. It's got heavy-duty valve springs in it. It's got a milled head. It's got a lot of mods. But this is a fun little bike. Goes out a few times a year. It's a couple events I take it to. So let's give it a shot. Give it a little gas. Make sure the switch is on. Fuel. And the fuel is on. Nope, it's not. Sorry. There it is. So the fuel is now on. So you can see this one sounds a lot different. It's very powerful. It is not for kids. All by itself. Nice little machine. Alright, so in short, you can see how versatile this engine really is. This particular application, you probably also notice it looks a little different. I had removed the stock fuel tank because it didn't fit between the motor and my frame rail here. But it is the same engine as all the rest, just highly modified. So, Tom, what do you think? Good motor or what?
Oh yeah, excellent.
Alright, so Tom and I have an idea. We have to come up with a new build, and we've been talking, and I think we come up with something pretty slick. Have not seen this done before. This will be a first as far as we know, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it.
Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. This engine's great. We love it. You do a lot with it. It's rated at 6.5 horsepower, 3,600 RPMs, and everyone modifies these like you just saw on the mini bike. But you can still only get so much out of it because it's a single cylinder, 6.5 horse engine to start. But the big brother to this motor is the 420cc, 13 horsepower, single cylinder engine that Harbor Freight sells. Big difference in price. This here, you can pick up at $99. You're looking at last, I think it was almost $400, $369, yeah. $389, something like that for 13 horse.
Yep, for
right?
13.
So what do you think about this? How about two of these engines, but not just side by side? How about if we mash them together and build an inline twin 424cc 13 horse motor? How's that sound?
Sounds great.
We can take this thing to the moon. I mean, we could at that point go from twin carbs to a single intake manifolded carburetor, 2-into-1 exhaust, and it's going to be essentially an inline twin. We'll mount the second engine 180 degrees out from this one, so that basically when this engine fires and goes to the exhaust stroke, the other engine is on the firing stroke, so that you'll constantly be putting power to the crankshaft in series. Sound good?
Let's get it done.
All right, so the big question is, what's it going to go on? And to find out, you're going to have to watch. So we'll see you next time.